Let's draft, baby. Here we go. Welcome to Fantasy Football Today on a Tuesday night. We've got a 12-team PPR mock draft that is underway, starting 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, quarterback, and 1 flex with 6 bench spots. Adam and Jamie here. You're going to see the results as they come in. We have 10 very generous listeners or viewers who donated to be part of this, and we thank you so much. Jamie, let's get a live look in at our draft-a-thon page and see where we're at. $125,000, $125,516.55. That's excellent stuff. How you doing, Jamie?
Doing great. It feels like I haven't talked to you in forever. Miss you so much. It's always great to see your beautiful face.
$250 is the going rate for a private draft Zoom call, a pre-draft Zoom call with Adam. With Jamie, it's $250. Okay. We'll see who's more popular by the end of this. Here's our draft. Ja'Marr Chase is the number 1 pick, and we've got Adam on the clock. And his team name was Chase Dreams, so it's not going to happen for you in this draft. I'm sorry, Adam. Ja'Marr Chase is off the board. By the way, this is Fantasy Football Today presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. All right, Adam, let's go. Let's make that pick. Sometimes people are a little late getting in. So, Jamie, what pick do you have?
I have pick 5.
And I have pick 10. Which one would you rather have, 5 or 10?
I'll take both. Thank you. Appreciate it. Like the trade offer.
Hopefully he meant Chase Brown. We get a comment in there from Chase Dreams. Could be. I mean, here's a chance to get Chase Brown. All right. So we're going to have to back that out. We had an auto pick. Adam is apparently not here. I'm going to pick for him. Or you can pick for him. But we'll give him Bijan Robinson and we'll...
Bijan,
yes. Turn off autopilot.
You know what you're doing?
I think so.
I got it, buddy. I got it.
Oh, here we go. There we go. All right, let's give him Bijan.
Man, I give you commissioner access for 1 league and you power trip. Look at this.
Welcome, everybody, to the chat here. And if you have any comments, if you have any questions, go for it. So we got Chase and Bijan Robinson, 2 receiver league instead of 3 receiver league. Jamie, who's your number 1 pick?
My number 1 pick is Ja'Marr Chase.
Saquon Barkley goes 3rd. And we've got Tony B on the clock with Jamie on deck. Who do you want Tony B to not draft here?
I would like Tony B to not draft CeeDee Lamb.
Okay. I'm curious to see where Puka goes. We haven't really talked about this, but Matthew Stafford, people are a little concerned about that back injury. Seems to be kind of a big deal. Yes, Brian, Caleb Williams does have the best arm. All right, who's it was CeeDee Lamb went number 4. All right, you're on the clock, Jamie. What are we doing here?
I took Jahmyr Gibbs, very good consolation price. So it seems like when I'm in this spot, these are 2 of the guys that I end up drafting a lot of.
Lamb and Gibbs. McCaffrey off the board. I'm hoping for Achane at pick 10. We'll see what happens. So we haven't really gotten into some of the high-end running backs, even though we did our RB preview part 1. Do you expect the Detroit split to be more Gibbs heavy than it has been the last 2 years when Montgomery and Gibbs have been healthy?
Slightly. But I also think that we're going to see them on the field together, and I think we're going to see Gibbs maybe have a little bit of a boost in the passing game. I'm a little bit concerned, depending on how the center play goes for the Lions, that Jared Goff is a non-mobile quarterback, and non-mobile quarterbacks hate pressure up the middle. Most quarterbacks hate pressure up the middle, but non-mobile quarterbacks especially. He hasn't really had to deal with that in Detroit. Will that change? And so how much will that change from getting the ball a little bit quicker? How much of that will be a little bit more by design to get Jahmyr Gibbs involved in the passing game? And we know what the upside is if David Montgomery misses any time, because we've seen it the first 2 years of his career. So this is the year, I think, where the usage potentially pops for Gibbs. And it would not shock me if he's RB1 or maybe even player 1 non-quarterback in fantasy.
Okay. We've got Mike up now. Team name Doo-Doo Browns. Nice throwback reference there. Mike, do not auto pick. Come on, Mike, or I'm going to pick for you. So here's where I'm thinking. I'm on deck. We've got a bit of a running back run here. 5 running backs, 3 receivers. There's only there are only two more running backs that I want with one of my first two picks, and they are Ashton Genty, who I'd take in round 1, and Derrick Henry, who I would not take in round 1, but I would take with the third pick of round 2. I am not convinced that Henry is going to make it back to me. So if Genty is available, I'm going to take Genty. If Genty is not available, Jamey, I'm probably going to go receiver, which is weird because I don't usually do that. But we'll see what Mike does here. I'm going to let you pick for Mike if he doesn't pick since I am behind him. What? Oh, did he pick? Oh, he picked Puka. I love Puka, but I'm getting a little nervous about Stafford, and I'm going to take Ashton Genty here. Where are you on that situation?
Puka's wide receiver 7 for me. So I like Nico Collins better. He's my wide receiver 4. League Neighbors is wide receiver 5, and Brian Thomas Jr. is wide receiver 6.
I love Nico. I don't think I'm going to get him in 5 picks, but the first 4 guys in my queue, this is interesting. First 4 guys in my queue are Nico, Neighbors, who just went, Brian Thomas Jr., and Amon-Ra St. Brown. All I need is Derrick Henry or Brock Bowers to be drafted, and I will get one of those 3 receivers, and I'll be very happy. If the next 3 picks are Nico, Brian Thomas, Amon-Ra St. Brown, then I'm probably going running back, which I don't know that I want to do.
You would take Henry, which I don't disagree, but you would take Henry over A.J. Brown and Drake London.
And Bowers.
I
would, yeah.
I made a switch.
Oh, Henry went
last night.
What was your switch?
I put Bowers ahead of McBride.
Oh, how come?
I saw his interview with Bryant McFadden, one of our NFL guys, former cornerback for the Steelers. Watching some highlights, he just looks so dominant.
So the reason I went with Bowers over McBride was this efficiency thing, and I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown at 15 overall. And now the picks get a little bit more interesting here. Now are we going to go Bowers? We're going to go A.J. Brown, because I think that top 15, you could see Bowers sneak in there, but the first 15 non-Bowers picks, I think, are going to be pretty close to set in stone. In some order. And Josh Jacobs is the next pick. So yeah, I felt like, Jamey, we keep talking about how these guys have to be a little better than they were last year to justify a 2nd round pick. Mm-hmm. And they're going to need to be more efficient. They're going to have to do better on a per catch, per target basis. I don't really know that Trey McBride can do that. I think I can't rule it out for Bowers. I feel like he's got potential to be a better yards per target, yards per catch, yards per route run rate guy than McBride, which is important because we think the targets are going to be pretty similar. So that's why I went with Bowers over him.
I get it. I mean, it just also felt like, do I really want to not buy into this potentially generational talent?
Right. All right. So Bowers goes after Jacobs. Then we get A.J. Brown. Then we get Drake London. Pretty chalky so far. Oh, Jamey, not chalky at all. Tyreek Hill in the middle of round 2. Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyreek Hill. You've got the fastest team so far. Why did you take Hill there?
I like Tyreek Hill in round 2. I think, for me, he's now wide receiver 11, so that's where we are on the board. And look, there's a lot to be concerned about. There's the potential of him being flaky, and I didn't like, I like the early comments he was making about wanting to prove to his teammates that what he said at the end of last season when they lost was a thing of the past, that he's bought in, he's more dedicated to the team, Tua saying he has to prove it, him agreeing with him, all those things. The one concern with taking Tyreek Hill here is if you want to take one of the running backs in round 3, you're not getting, most likely, Chase Brown, as we know he already went off the board, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, probably Kyron Williams now. I think they're all going to be gone. There would have been a chance that Tyreek falls to you in round 3. So if you want to play that game of maybe he's there, and if you don't have much separation, let's say between Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, JSN, Garrett Wilson, then you take the running back, start running back in my case, and you should be fine. But I think the upside of Tyreek Hill, you've said this, I agree. He could be wide receiver 1. There's that much upside still there.
I think he's the last player at running back or wide receiver that gets drafted that could finish number 1 at his position. Higgins could, I think, if Chase got hurt, but but Tyreek Hill to me is the last guy that I really think has number 1 overall at his position potential.
Maybe
because his ADP is 28th. You took him like 20th or something.
Yep.
All right, let's catch up on the picks after Tyreek Hill. Chase Brown. Oh, man. Team 2. Chase Dreams not getting either of the chases on Cincinnati. And then Lamar Jackson. And let's see where Kyren Williams goes, because Kyren Williams signing a 3-year deal. So I do think that's going to calm the nerves of a lot of people who may have been nervous about him. We'll see if Dave is now in.
So it's funny you mentioned that. So this was not anything related to Dave. I just, we know what the conversation around Kyren has been. And I, what do we say? X'd it. I posted on X. Does this make you feel better about Kyren Williams? And somebody tagged Dave in one of my response to that. Mm-hmm. And he said, yes, it does make me feel better about Kyren. And I looked at his rankings and he put him back at 12. I think he had him at like 14 or 15. So yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of waiting for this to see what was going to happen. And now we sort of have to play the game of, where do we go with Jarquez Hunter? Where do we go with Blake Corum? I drafted Kyren in the middle of round 3 in the flex draft this weekend. Was perfectly comfortable with that. I have him closer to the 2-3 turn. And I like him better than James Cook at this point. And I still like him better than Omarion Hampton and Kenneth Walker, who did return to practice today, by the way.
All right. So I've been making picks for team 2, who is a no-show right now, unfortunately. So I gave him Bijan Robinson and then T. Higgins. And I was thinking there of maybe going with Jonathan Taylor, but we had Taylor, we had Bucky Irving, we had Kyren Williams still on the board. So I said, let's take T. Higgins, get that number 1 receiver. And then team 1 is going, kind of 0 RB. The earliest they're going to be able to take a running back is 48th overall. So they've got Jamar Chase, Trey McBride, Ladd McConkey. So this worked out well for Adam Hahn's team, Chase Dreams. So Jamey, you could make this pick with me. I've got Taylor, Bucky Irving, and now Kyren Williams.
Let's give Adam his time to see if he jumps in.
Well, I already did. I already gave him a full time, and then I reset it.
No, I mean on this pick.
I did.
Oh.
But it's there for, if he comes in, it's there for the taking. I would go with Jonathan Taylor here. Let me just take a look at the wide receivers. Yeah, not going to be Devontae Adams or JSN. I would go with Jonathan Taylor.
I would as well. I think, again, it's 2 running back, 2 receiver league. So it's easy to sort of go with the running back value there.
Yeah, and I was thinking about Bucky Irving too, because Cousin Ernest is saying, no Bucky yet? No, he'll be off the board pretty soon. Jamey will take him if he's there. The next pick is Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams was RB 7 per game last year. He was RB 7 per game in non-PPR, 9 per game in full PPR. He was the number 2 running back per game 2 years ago. He averaged only 4.1 yards per carry last year. He did not have a lot of explosive plays. He ranked 41st out of 46 running backs with 100 or more carries in explosive run rate. But he got so many carries, 316 carries in 16 games. Jamey just picked. So I took Taylor for team 2, Kyren Williams, Bucky Irving, and then you took Devontae Adams. Were you a little disappointed to see those 3 running backs get picked?
Obviously, when you see those guys come off the board and knowing the upside of what they have, what they have to be, could be this year. So it's to be expected though. Like I don't expect those guys to be on the board when I'm picking at that point in round 3. After you get, I think knowing that the tight ends come off the board. The one pick that I would not have made of all the guys, forget about the order, is just Lamar Jackson in round 2. But I get it. Look, he's got a chance to be special. So it's just not a spot that I typically go to.
Yeah, and I'm about to pick here as we have Devontae Adams, JSN, Ken Walker, Breece Hall, and there's a very easy pick for me to make. I would say 2 easy picks for me to make. I know I'm going to get my guy. It's going to be Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels because, oh man, you know what? Not so fast. I think I'm going to go with a little wild card here. Josh Allen goes, all right, I'm probably not going to be able to get Jaden Daniels with my next pick if I don't take him now. Am I okay taking Burrow or Hurts or just waiting at the position?
I would wait to see if one of them comes back to you.
Yeah. The best, right? I'm not taking quarterback here. The best wide receivers available are Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and DK Metcalf. I am going to take both of the running backs who were drafted in the first round in the NFL draft. I'm going to pair Ashton Genty with Omarion Hampton, who is better than Najee Harris, is getting a head start over Najee Harris. And the running backs preview today made me pretty excited to draft Omari and Hampton. Actually, I think it was the Rankings Risers show on Monday. So there we go. I've got Hampton, and we'll see who falls to me in round 4. You approve of this pick?
I mean, I have him ranked close to this. It's hard to argue that he doesn't belong in this range. I like him better than Breece Hall, for example. So, once we start to get to these running backs, he's talked about this today, that he likes the running back value in round 3. I think once you get past, based on how this draft went, of Taylor, Kyron, and Bucky Irving, like these next 3 guys, and I'll throw James Cook in there also, are going to be, I think, very polarizing at this point. And this, to me, is the start of the dead zone, because there are questions. Is Hampton going to even be involved in the passing game? What will Najee do once he's healthy? Because he's not out for the season, at least as of now. Breece Hall could be losing touchdowns to Braylon Allen.
I would 100% take Hampton over Breece Hall. I know I didn't have that pick to make. It's difficult for me with Walker and Hampton, but Jamey, right now, I'm 100% taking Hampton over Hall.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean,
what about Walker versus Hampton for you?
I have Walker right ahead of Hampton right now, but that would have changed if Walker's injury was lingering. The fact that he's back at practice seems like he's good to go.
All right. James Cook falls to 36th. George Kittle went 35th. After I took Hampton, it was Kittle, then Cook. And we go into round 4 now. Any comments from the chat? Damn, Adam, what have you had for supper? 2 rookies. If you listen to the bonus podcast, I was like, hey, can I eat now? But I actually haven't eaten, so I haven't had anything. Maybe I shouldn't be drafting on an empty stomach. Damn it! Jaden Daniels went. All right. Now, I'm not going to take my 3rd running back. It's a full PPR league, and I do not mind Garrett Wilson here, as I know I'm not going to love my wide receiver too. But this is my philosophy, is like, if you're sitting there and you just don't love the pick, you pivot to quarterback. In a 4-point league, I'm taking Hurts here. This is a 6-point league. Taking Joe Burrow. Burrow, Genty, Hampton, St. Brown. This might be my favorite team that I've drafted so far. I say that a lot.
It's pretty good. I mean, this is one of the farthest we've seen Garrett Wilson fall at this point. So interesting to see where he'll end up. But look, he's got some issues. Justin Fields is not looking great in practice right now.
No, he is not. Forgive guys, being on new offenses and learning things. It's still training camp, but Fields is struggling a bit. All right, so Kamara, 38th. What'd you think about that?
Again, running backs are coming off the board pretty quickly here. So this is the next guy that was ranked for me. It's again, full PPR. It's hard to argue. You brought up, I think Heath brought up some good points today in regards to Kellen Moore's offense. I'm curious to see what they'll do with the other guys there, Devin Neal and Kendre Miller.
Devin Neal injured, right?
Is Devin Neal injured? I didn't see.
Devin Neal is out a couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. By the way, I meant to ask you about, you can finish up your thoughts on Kamara, but remind me to ask you about Stafford, because Schefter said it was a total maintenance issue for Stafford's back. But go ahead and finish up your thoughts on the Saints. So,
I mean, hopefully that's the case. It's certainly an injury worth monitoring at this point with him. Yeah, I think, whether Devin Neal is healthy at some point during the season, and Kendre Miller, says it's the most comfortable he's felt. We'll see if they take Kamara off the field at all, but it could be really frustrating if they're not having him involved in the passing game to the same level.
All right, we get Mike Evans, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, Vincent, I really don't mind your picks, but having Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson is risky. I'm not saying you reach for either of them. In fact, I think you had great value on Wilson. I usually don't see him go this late, but it is risky to pair the 2 of them. Jalen Hurts. So what do we think? I like this. I like Logan's team. You got a little Eagle stack with Hurts and Brown, and you got Achane and Ken Walker. Jamey's on the clock now after DJ Moore was selected a little earlier than we usually see DJ Moore go. So Jamey, what is your team looking like now? Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and who'd you take? Ooh,
Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's the second time it's 2 weeks in a row. I think you've taken Marvin Harrison Jr. Did you, or did you pass on? Because you had Trey McBride.
No, I did, because I took McBride, and you said Do you really want to have both Cardinals?
Right. So is it just coincidence? Or are you starting to get excited about Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I think round 4 is a great spot for him. When you start to get to this point in the receiver rank list. So I'm trying to think of how I have it ordered. I have Devontae Adams at 14, JSN at 15, Garrett Wilson 16. And then there's a little break for me in terms of the overall rankings. And then we get to Marvin Harrison. So you asked me earlier today on FFT Express, guys I'm drafting a lot. And I should have mentioned these two because I draft them a lot. DK Metcalf and Cortland Sutton. Those are the guys I have right behind Marvin Harrison. And so I typically end up drafting a lot of those guys. But I do think that Harrison's got the potential to still be the guy that we thought he could be last year. The separation's still an issue. I think you brought it up, or Dave brought it up. I think it was you, that every highlight video we see from him.
No, it was not me. It was Dave and Heath, I think.
Yeah, okay. Every highlight video we see from him, it's a contested catch that he's making in the highlight. That's also not a great secondary for the Cardinals. So did the extra muscle help him? We'll find out. Is he going to, be able to make some plays and get some yards after the catch? I hope. But I still think if you're taking a chance on somebody, a year 2 wide receiver with his profile coming into the league, round 4 is a good spot for it.
All right. Sorry, we had an auto pick there. Let's can we back out James Conner? Sorry.
No, I think Connor's fine. I wouldn't change.
All right, we'll keep it then. Keep James Conner, make things easy on Schaefer. All right, that means team 1. Graham is up. Chuba Hubbard, James Conner off the board here. Okay. So Jamey is probably going to take a rookie running back with his 5th pick. Which is good because like we've been saying all along, if you leave your draft without a rookie running back, you've made a mistake, right? I already have 2, so I'm fine.
Yeah, you're good. You're cooking.
Travion Henderson at 48. And then actually, 48. DeAndre Swift at 49. Oh, that's a backbreaker there for Jamey. You think you're going to
look when you mentioned it, with the start of that team to end up with Chase and McConkey and then Henderson and Swift along with Trey McBride, that's a pretty good start.
You were in a tough spot there with that Harrison pick because you couldn't take a quarterback there. The top 5 were off the board. You couldn't take a tight end there. The top 3 were off the board. You probably feel that these running backs, maybe other than Chubbard, are around 5 guys. So that was a tough spot for you, I think.
I don't mind it though, because it's still a flex league. I'll play Harrison as my flex. Does sort of balance out my older receivers there of Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. So getting a little bit of youth. So no, I didn't mind that at all. He was the highest player on the board for me. Again, the next receivers I have are Sutton and DK Metcalf.
Tony, so Spence in the chat says Tony's going hero wide receiver like you guys talked about in the earlier show. So he goes Lamb, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, and Chuba Hubbard. That's team 4. What do you think about that build? Ooh, Baker Mayfield. No. Can we back that one out? That was
I did back out, yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right, I'll make the pick. I'm sorry about that. I forgot I'm drafting for team 2. So let's draft here. Bijan, Higgins, Taylor, Connor. Let's get a wide receiver. Again, still too early for QB6. Still too early for tight end 4. Oh, definitely Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton's a nice pick here for team 2. Okay, how do you feel about the Tony build, team 4? CeeDee Lamb and then 3 running backs.
I mean, it's pretty solid. When you look at it, again, I would have probably gone Metcalf or Sutton over Hubbard, especially with the start with Brown and Irving. But, Chuba Hubbard's a great flex, and now you're looking at the receiver value that's coming back to you. He's got an option to take some pretty good players here. Looking at the guys that are on the board. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but we'll see.
Oh, man, there's a player I'm so excited to take. Whatever, I'll just say it. In a normal spot, the 10th pick of round 5, I'm getting really pumped. Oh, Terry McLaurin just went. That's a good one. That's quite a discount. I know he wants to get traded and whatever, but that's a good discount there.
I still wouldn't have taken him here.
No? You were taking Worthy.
Yep.
And some others. I really like, if I'm picking late in round 5, Jamison Williams. I'm getting super excited about all the things they're saying about him. He had a good year last year, and he appears to be an improved, more well-rounded receiver. But I already have Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to take Jamison Williams. I think I can. I don't know that it disqualifies me from taking him, but it is kind of a conundrum there. Oh, Jamey does get his rookie running back, RJ Harvey, after Terrell McMillan.
I also, just because I didn't want to make the same mistake I made last week of not looking at my team. I do have Montgomery ranked slightly ahead of Harvey, but I didn't want to take Gibbs and Montgomery.
There you go. A lot of Lion teammate conundrums here in round 5. Tony Pollard go. Oh, that's super early for Tony Pollard, in my opinion. Travis Hunter goes. Oh, this is setting me up for the Jameson Williams decision, isn't it?
You might get a gift.
I would take Worthy. Yep. Your top 4 receivers are Worthy, Devontae Smith, George Pickens, and Jameson Williams. I'm out on tight end here, although Kelsey's getting pretty interesting to me once we find out that suspension for Rashee Rice. Also, I would be sort of interested in Mahomes here, but I have Burrow. Travis Hunter still the last pick. We're waiting. So I mentioned Jamie's top 4 receivers again. They're Worthy, Devontae Smith, George Pickens, Jameson Williams. I'm definitely going to get one of those guys. Or I can get a third running back, Montgomery, Caleb Johnson, Pacheco. No, going to be a wide receiver here for me. I only have one. Let's go. Make your pick, buddy. Gio. Did he make his pick? Oh, he did. He took Jameson Williams. Thanks, you jerk. Wish you had auto picked. Okay, Mike is up now. Mike has Puka, Jacobs, Josh Allen, and Mike Evans. You want to give your thoughts real quick on Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, I'm concerned. I think anytime you're talking about a 37-year-old quarterback who's had some back issues in the past and now dealing with another back issue, it's not promising. For his fantasy value on his own, he hasn't been above 20 fantasy points since 2021, for the season at least, points per game. Clearly, his receiving core, I don't think will miss a beat going from Cooper Kupp to Devontae Adams. You can make a case it might be better. I'm a little concerned about Puka just because the addition of Devontae Adams. A little concerned about Adams at 32 years old. I'm a little concerned about Adam doing that dance.
Yeah, I just got Xavier Worthy at, what is this, 58th overall.
Yeah, you actually have to make the pick, though.
I wanted to set it up. There we go. All right, I'm pumped about that. Okay, sorry, I wasn't listening to Jamie. I was dancing, but I heard what you said. You're a little worried about Puka. Look at this quote that Schaefer butchered in the private chat. So I called that guy a jerk, called Vincent a jerk for drafting Jameson Williams. So Schaefer goes, "Look at what you did, you little jerk." It's look what you did, you little jerk. The word "at" just ruins the line. Imagine if Uncle Frank said, "Look at what you did, you little jerk." Oh, just that movie would have tanked. You just ruined Home Alone. Question here from the chat. Are we even sure that Travis Hunter will be a full-time wide receiver? Jamie?
No, we're not. But that's the way it's trending.
Yeah, because his coach said he wants him to play 80% of the offensive snaps. That's a good sign.
That's a full-time wide receiver.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless he's playing some at offensive line, maybe. Okay. Let's see where we're at here. We are at the end of round 5 rather. So Calvin Ridley off the board. What do you think about that pick? 59th overall.
I don't love him ahead of some of the other guys who are still available, but the path to success is easily there. You look at Cam Ward being better. His numbers with Mason Rudolph last year versus Will Levis were basically 2 points per game. He was 12 points per game for the season. He was 14 points per game in the games that Mason Rudolph started. So the hope would be is that Cam Ward is at least better than Mason Rudolph, at least on par with Mason Rudolph. So does he have as much upside as, let's say, a Pickens or a Devontae Smith or, even somebody, let's say, like Jalen Waddle, for example? He might. I just would have, if you really wanted Calvin Ridley, you might have been able to get him coming back on the turn.
All right, so now I've got a big decision to make.
And I think just the way that it played out for Todd's team, if you had told me he took Montgomery in round 5, and Ridley in round 6, I think that's probably the same result.
Burrow, Genty, Hampton, Xavier Worthy, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We need to get a little older on this team. It's Joe Mixon time for me.
Oh, hate that.
What? He could be ready for week 1.
Isn't your guy still there?
Yeah, Pacheco's there, but I like Mixon better than Pacheco.
Oh, how can you? That's terrible. That's your worst take ever.
Why? Was it
Because
so
Mixon's
long?
hurt. Who knows when he's going to play? You have an opportunity to get the guy that you think was a top 20 overall pick last year, who's got minimal competition for touches based on your assessment of it. Like, how do you take Mixon over Pacheco? Just like you've been beating the drum for Pacheco.
I think Pacheco would have been a great pick there, but Joe Mixon was the number 10 running back per game, and he left 2 games early. You absolutely can look at last year. He was dominant last year. He was terrific.
I hate that picture.
I don't hate it. I think
I have my story to write. Thank you.
I think look, I think you could call. I think I'm gonna start calling these the Tostitos picks because we are buying the dip. Let's get a sponsorship out of it.
This isn't the dip.
This is the dip.
No, it's not. It's a round different where he was going.
No, he should have been a 4th round pick. If he was a round 5 pick, it was one of the best values in fantasy. I didn't understand that. Like, I don't understand how you can take Kamara so confidently ahead of Joe Mixon. But Mixon was so good last year.
Kamara has 2 feet right now.
Well, that I get. Okay, I'm sorry. I meant before the injury. Yes, of course, now you take Kamara ahead of Mixon. But when he's ready for week 1, you're going to go, Joe Mixon should be a 5th round pick now. And I got him in the 6th round. Steal.
Terrible selection.
All right.
I just told you I got him in the 8th round over the weekend.
Well, I really don't think I was going to get him in the 7th.
I do.
No way. Brian Robinson Jr., that's too early. Right? In full PPR?
Yeah.
Caleb Johnson, not too early. What if I had gone with another rookie? Jamey, you got to take Pacheco.
Maybe. We'll see.
I think the tight ends are really in play here. Hawkinson, Kelsey, Njoku. I don't know. Do we have a single team that has a quarterback and a tight end yet?
Quarterback and tight end?
Isn't that amazing? We don't have a single team that has a quarterback and a tight end.
No.
All right, you're on the clock. Pacheco just went. Jerry Judy just went. Jamey's team is Gibbs, Tyreek, Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison, RJ Harvey.
Yeah, this was a gift. Too hard to pass up.
Thank you. What are we taking here? Oh, Sam Laporta. I skipped him. Of course he's in play. All right, you took Devontae Smith, then Patrick Mahomes. I think you got to go tight end with your next pick. You got some good tight end value.
I think I don't, but I will consider it.
You got a little Mahomes Kelsey stack.
Yeah.
It's not bad in round 6.
I don't think I'm getting both.
Mahomes. You don't have
round 7 and round 8, but sure.
I thought you took Mahomes. It's the guy after you took Mahomes. My bad.
Yeah.
Mahomes is off the board. All right, Tony, maybe you take a Mahomes Kelsey stack. What is it? Mixon is a horrible pick in any round. Joe Mixon has been one of the most underappreciated fantasy players over the last 7 years or 6 years. He's been top 12 per game 5 of the last 6 seasons. Come on.
Can't worry about last year.
Didn't Mixon miss most of training camp last season? Yes. Thank you, Steve.
Was he in a walking boot?
Everyone's in a walking boot. I've been in a walking boot and I'm fine. Years ago, obviously. Oh, wait. Oh, that's not me. I'm not picking now. Let's go, Larry. You're on the clock. Let's talk about Larry's team. Barkley, Lamar Jackson, Kyron Williams, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin. It's not the most PPR-y team. Not a lot of high catch guys here. I don't know that you're going to be able to fix that with this pick, Larry. Jalen Waddle is available. I think it's Sam Laporta time, but maybe not because team 1 has McBride. So you could gamble that team 2 won't take Laporta. But I'm picking for team 2, so I wouldn't make that gamble. Jamey, who do you
letting auto pick go from this point forward.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. That takes some pressure off my plate. I'm going to put autopilot on for team 2 then. You want to make this pick for
see if it shows up.
For Larry?
Nope, Larry will pick. Otherwise, it's auto time.
All right. Larry is not making this pick. 2, 1, and auto pick. Matthew Golden. Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, I'm not waiting for a minute for this to happen here.
Are you hosting a show that we should be giving analysis?
Okay, fine. Let's give some analysis.
What do you think's in Dan's refrigerator right
now? Who would you like to see the computer pick for Adam?
Adam has Bijan, Higgins, Taylor, Connor, and Sutton. It's a good spot for Kelsey. Or, I'm sorry, Laporta. But no, I would not take Laporta because McBride is after him.
Yeah.
So you can go Baker here if you wanted.
Waddle.
Waddle would make some sense. Yeah, get a third receiver. Yeah, that's probably the smartest pick, Waddle.
All right, well, we'll see who the computer picks. This draft's about to get a lot faster. 2 teams are on auto pick. Matthew Golden, crazy pick in round 6. And Adam's team is getting Baker Mayfield.
There you go.
The second time he's drafted Baker Mayfield. All right, back-to-back picks for Graham. I feel like I have to take Sam Laporta for Adam.
Nope.
Oh, Sam Laporta went he took Kelsey, and then Sam Laporta went after that. So Jalen Waddle, Cooper Kupp at the turn.
Heath would like the Kupp pick. I don't love it.
That was pick 73. Jalen Waddle pick 74, and then 2 tight ends go, Kelsey and Laporta. Adam's the kind of guy whose mom still tells him that he's a good eater. Thank you. I did cook dinner for my whole family last night, including my mom and my brother, and I got a pre-marinated chicken, and all I did was heat it up, and it was so good. And they were like,
"Did they think it was you?"
No, I was transparent about it. They still gave me a lot of credit, so I appreciated that. Tony, you got to make this pick, Tony. We cannot have 3 consecutive auto picks. No wonder Jamey. They're right in front of Jamey. No wonder he wants auto picks. He takes Tank Bigsby at 76.
Are you worried at all at this point about Chris Godwin?
Yeah, of course. I do think now's not a bad time for Chris Godwin.
Well, you saw the report today, right?
Oh, no.
Making progress, but week 1 uncertain.
Yeah, I figured he might not be ready for week 1. I was thinking about having this conversation. Well, you go ahead, make your pick. Who are you going to take here?
I'm going to reach a little bit, I think. Let me see.
Ugh, they had running backs available right now. It's not a good time for running backs.
Yeah, I'm going to reach a little bit.
Jamey's favorite running backs are Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, Jordan Mason, Tyrone Tracy. So those are not round 7 guys. So Jamey goes to a tight end. That's 3 tight ends in the last 4 picks in this draft. It's David Njoku he's going to take. Yeah, I was thinking about Chris Godwin, and my thought was, if you're picking Chris Godwin or a different wide receiver, you have to ask yourself, does this other wide receiver have the chance to really win me my league or come close? Do you really contribute to that? And if the answer is no, then you take Godwin. If the answer is yes, then I think you take that other guy. And I would still take Zay Flowers probably over Godwin, but you have them back to back. And then after that, I think it's Godwin.
He's there. I think similar to if anybody watched our emergency podcast on the Jordan Addison, our breaking news podcast, it shouldn't be emergency, our breaking news podcast on Jordan Addison's suspension. I think you view it the same way. Like, you don't have to start Chris Godwin the first part of the season. When he comes back, he may be a top 10 receiver. He's got that much upside.
Well, I'll tell you, if he's available for my pick, I'm 100% going to draft Chris Godwin. And
be a great pick for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the wide receivers that are still available. Jamey's highest ranked receivers are Godwin, Olave, Ricky Pearsall, Romo Dunze. That's my cutoff there. I think I could throw Addison in that group too. Ricky Pearsall was selected. That's kind of who I was hoping would fall to me. But at the end of round 7 here, I think we still have some very appealing wide receivers, guys that you could consider starters in week 1. And then you get to, for me, Jacoby Myers, Deebo Samuel, Darnell Mooney. I think these are bench pieces. I don't know how you see it.
I do. That's you.
Remove us. Look what you did. Look at what you did, you little. Oh, that's me. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh,
Thomas
my God.
is on fire.
Thomas is the man. Great stuff. All right, Team Geo, let's make this pick here.
I just got a comment that Pearsall isn't even wide receiver 1. I think it's hard to argue that he's not wide receiver 1 at this point. Now, maybe by the middle of the season, he's not wide receiver 1. You can make that case. But Brandon Ayuk's maybe not going to start the season. And who knows what's happening with Juwan Jennings right now. So I think with the reports that we're getting on Pearsall, could be same old camp reports. Another guy just making plays, young player showing out. And it could be let's send a message to the 2 veteran guys that need to get on the field. But I think right now Pearsall is he's a rankings riser for me. So you read the list. Like, he wasn't in this group prior to today.
Yeah, I noticed that. I thought he was a little bit higher than I remember for you. When I picked Mixon in round 6, I had Pearsall in my thoughts for round 7. I was like, I'm going to pass on a wide receiver here because I think I can get Pearsall in round 7. I couldn't, but I'm totally fine with Chris Olave. I would have been fine with Jordan Addison. I would be fine with Rome Odunze. That's about my cutoff. But this is something I think I'm learning right now. I look at this draft board. I do see some wacky picks. I think Brian Robinson, Tank Bigsby really stand out. But the thought that if you have a late pick coming back in round 7, you might like the wide receivers there. Hopefully you look at this run, 6 or 7 straight wide receivers. So obviously people like the value here. Hopefully you all feel the same way.
It's an interesting draft the way it's unfolded. Like, I know for me, I like Marvin Harrison in round 4. If you would have told me that I could get Devontae Smith in round 6, I would have taken a running back there.
I could just throw all the Devontae Smith numbers at you, that he's a wide receiver 3 when Goddard and AJ Brown are healthy. So why so confident?
2 things. Well, one, AJ Brown's not healthy right now, so something to keep an eye on.
That didn't factor into your pick, did it?
Not at all. Or my ranking, where I have him as a top 24 receiver. I'm going to stick by what my theory is with this team, where they're going to not have the same success running the ball. And so that's, I think, going to benefit the pass catchers, that we may have to see them throw the ball a little bit. I think it's going to help Jalen Hurts. I think it's going to help AJ Brown. It's going to help Devontae Smith. We know Devontae Smith. We've seen it. We talked about this a little bit with Jalen Waddle. We talk about this. You mentioned it with T. Higgins. If there's an injury to somebody else, Devontae Smith has top 10 upside. And so I'm most of the time drafting him as a wide receiver 3 because of how I draft.
I like that strategy. I'm going to make a wacky pick here. I want your thoughts on it.
Sure.
Because there was a report today. We got an injury to Scadaboo. Report today that Tyrone Tracy is like the clear RB1. I'm going to take Tyrone Tracy here. I've been very anti-Giants running backs, but I read Dan's thoughts on Tracy after he broke down the film of he watched film of every one of his carries. Basically, he came away pretty impressed.
He loves him.
Do you think it's too early for him? Early round week?
I start to get to, so if you're looking at the draft board right in front of us, let's just go from Mixon down. So, or after Mixon. So Brian Robinson Jr., Caleb Johnson. I think Johnson went too late. Pacheco maybe went a little bit too late. But it's Brian Robinson, it's Tank Bigsby, Jalen Moore, and Tyrone Tracy. Javonte Williams just went off the board. Like, this is where we're getting into this muddled group of some backups that are going to be, I still think, factors. So Ramondre Stevenson, Rashad White, I think, are going to have some value. Tyjae Spears going to have some value. Jordan Mason going to have some value. Whatever you think of these guys. J.K. Dobbins. It's a lot of questions. And I think Tracy, for example, if you like Tank Bigsby, I think Tracy's a very similar type of fantasy running back. Is going to have some competition, going to be on a team that may struggle to run the ball. I think the offense for Jacksonville is probably going to be better. But if there's no Scadaboo for an extended period of time, which may be the case because they had to go out and sign somebody. Remember, Jonathan Ward was added. Tracy could be in such a great spot, especially early in the season. So he's going to be somebody, when I adjust my rankings, he'll move up a few spots. I've already separated the two. They were back-to-back initially. I've always been Tracy over Scadaboo. But I'm getting more encouraged by Tracy as well.
I got to tell you, the Giants have the pieces to have a decent offense.
I think they have the pieces to be a decent team. There's not a lot of depth. But if Russell Wilson is competent, with what Abdul Carter looks like, my God.
I know.
He may be a game wrecker. And with him and Burns and Lawrence, like, that defensive front could be nasty. If the tackles hold up offensively, they're going to be hopefully able to protect Russ. And they have one of the best playmakers on the outside in Malik Neighbors. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they have a better than expected season. How good? I'm not sure, but.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Would you have taken J.K. Dobbins as the RJ Harvey manager in round 8?
I would have considered it. He was. I have Mason ranked higher, who I took, and so I'd rather diversify my portfolio a little bit. But we talked about this today. Like, this is the way to draft these guys. Take Harvey round 5, round 6. Take Dobbins round 8, round 9. It's not a bad way to go. But I like Mason better.
For what it's worth, Dobbins' ADP is much lower than this. I'm not saying that was a bad pick because I think it just, you got into one of these runs where Tracy and Javonte went and Dobbins made sense there. I think it was a good pick, but hopefully you can get him at his ADP, which is around 110th or 115th. We're in the 90s right now. So, if you believe the ADP, then you can get a great value on Dobbins. But I guess that's kind of a philosophy question of how do you build your team, your bench? Do you use it to supplement your starters or to just take shots at players on other teams? Do you handcuff your own guy or do you handcuff Aaron Jones basically with Jordan Mason? He's not a true handcuff, but you can mix it up.
I prefer, so we're in a 13-round draft, which is no kicker, no defense. So you're drafting 7 starters and 6 bench spots. I would like to, if I can, through the first at least 9 rounds, potentially 10, get guys that I think are going to be starters for me. So I'll factor in the floor a little bit. Once we get past that, I'm only looking for upside. These are guys that I could potentially cut. I don't care. But if I can take a swing for the fence type of player, could be in any position. So, I'll give you an example of somebody who's still available. Quinshon Judkins is going to come into the range now of guys that we're talking about drafting. If he plays, you may get 4 or 5 games of amazing production. He may not play at all. Huge risk.
Yeah.
But if he's the starter for the Browns, let's say by week 7 or week 8, could be awesome, right? We were thinking he's going to be potentially awesome right from the get-go.
I think Dave is backstage. Dave, you there? Dave?
Yo.
Hey.
Do I sound terrible? Do I look terrible?
You look like a floating head, but that's fine.
Mecca lecca hi, Mecca hiney ho.
In the year 2000.
You want to see what the view is from my hotel room? And then you
can
guess where I am?
Yeah.
Can you see?
Oh, man, what is that? What stadium is that? Oh, it's a horrible sound. All right, get your computer back to where it was, and then you can let us know. Let's catch up on some picks. You're muted right now, Dave. I'll unmute you when you get your computer back. All right, we had. Let's see. Let's go all the way back to Tracy, Javonte, Etienne, Dobbins, Dak, Mason, Diggs, Scadaboo, Najee, Kyler Murray, Deebo Samuel, Zach Charbonnet. I'm going to unmute Dave now. Bo Nix, Emeka Ibuka, Ramondre Stevenson. Hey, Dave, what's up?
Gillette Stadium.
Oh, fun.
So, seeing the Commanders and the Patriots do a joint practice tomorrow, and hopefully learn a lot about Drake May. I know that's Jamie's guy. You love him. You've got him top 12, man. I'm especially interested in Travion Henderson. What type of, rotation is he in? And Stephon Diggs, how well is he separating from new defenders and good defenders in Washington?
All right. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this draft here. I'm in a little bit of a tight end dilemma. I'd also like to build out my wide receiver depth, but I see Evan Ingram, Tucker Kraft, Mark Andrews, Colston Loveland all on the board. So I don't feel the need to take one right now. And then, of course, you look at the board and you see that Team 11 has Kittle, Team 12 has Hawkinson. So I definitely don't need to take a tight end with this pick. I'm on the clock as Darnell Mooney and Juwan Jennings. Jennings was definitely someone I was going to take. But let's build out that receiver depth. And let's give Josh Downs a try. This could be a horrible pick, but we'll give it a try.
Full PPR?
Full PPR.
Don't hate it at all.
Thank you. Take a look at the teams, Dave, and see if there's anything that jumps out at you. What I say it again in case people missed it. There was not a single team that took a quarterback and a tight end early.
Which I'm going to love. So
what do you mean?
Kudos to the drafters.
Oh, you love not doing that.
It slows you down from filling the running back and receiver spots.
Now I'm sitting here at tight end. Isaac Arendo is the pick, and it's not a bad pick, but keep in mind he has a shoulder injury. He's out a few weeks. Now I'm sitting here at tight end. And everybody's got to make this decision. Is how many are off the board right now? 9 or 10, I think.
Angie needs to get Ray Davis right now.
Oh, he has Brees Hall?
No, he has James Cook. Ray Davis.
Oh, Ray. Sorry. My bad. How many tight ends are off the board? 1, 2, 3.
Nope, he took Shakir.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tight ends are off the board. So I think I'm going to gamble that I'll like a tight end in the next round. All right, so then you start asking yourself, do I handcuff any of my running backs? I don't think so because I'm not drafting Mostert. Najee's off the board. I'm not drafting Nick Chubb. I'm not drafting Woody Marks here. I'm going to take Tajay Spears.
You're just going to keep passing on tight end, huh?
I am going to gamble. I'm going to see what happens here because I do like Evan Ingram, but I don't love Evan Ingram here. I don't love any of these guys. And there's 4 or 5 that I'd be comfortable with. So I'll probably just be the last person to take a tight end. Jamey, hi.
Yo.
Dave, I think I'm going to have to let you go because the audio is kind of crap.
Sounds good to me. Bye.
All right. Sorry. See ya. Appreciate Dave trying to hop in there.
That Thomas?
Dude, that looks like Clint Howard. Does that not look like Clint Howard?
It does look like Clint Howard. It looks like Ralph Cifaretto. What's the actor? Sopranos, you dummy.
Oh. Oh man. Okay, you want any thoughts on recent picks?
I'm surprised you passed on Evan Ingram or Tucker Kraft there.
I don't like those guys as much as you do, I think. Kraft, when I look at some of the old I guess I really shouldn't say that. When I look at some of the past tight end drafts and some of the really bad picks, the Vance McDonalds, the Dalton Schultzes of the world, kind of feel like that's Kraft, but he doesn't actually really fit that mold because I feel like those were target opportunities for players that we didn't think were that good. Kraft is actually the opposite. I think everybody thinks he's good, but is worried about the targets. I don't think he gets enough targets to really stand out in fantasy. Tajay Spears, I couldn't pass up on Spears, Jamey. I just think.
Well, I was hoping he fell. Yeah.
Yeah, I know how much you like him. I like him for the same reasons. And then Jerome Ford went. That was another one. I mean, Jerome Ford is if I needed my 3rd running back there, I'm probably taking Ford. This was my 4th running back where I only have to start 2. So then you get Ray Davis. So now we're getting some high-end handcuff options here. And then, of course, Jerome Ford could just be a starter. Jaden Blue. What do you make of Jaden Blue getting first-team reps?
I think this is a very, very wide open backfield that anyone could be the starter at certain points in the season. And so you could take a shot on Javonte. The 2 that I would look for would be Javonte and Blue. I like the Tootin pick also because he got some first-team reps today also. And that's somebody that coaching staff seems to be really hot on as well. So it's just a good dart throw at this point. You know, I mean, as I said, I'll go back to what I said about, round 9 and 10, like looking for starters. To me, Ramondre Stevenson has a floor that could matter. Jaden Blue has a ceiling that could matter. If I need to start somebody early in the season, I would start Stevenson. By the middle of the season, it could easily be Jaden Blue, and I'd be thrilled about that.
Okay. Now, if you're Mike, who picks 9th ahead of me at 10, you've got to be thinking you're going to take a tight end unless you like multiple, tight ends. But that's probably going to be your next pick. Mark Andrews is just very good value at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody takes him as their 2nd tight end. That's always a possibility. Braylon Allen, Samaje Perine. That was an auto pick. Would you take Taj Brooks at this point as the Chase Brown manager?
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where Perine will matter on passing downs no matter what happens. So he may play in tandem with Chase Brown. I think if there's an injury to Chase Brown, Taj Brooks will eventually be the guy.
Okay. We've got Xavier Legette getting drafted. Jamey, you are almost up. Let's see. What does Jamey need? He needs a quarterback. You ready for that? Ready for that pick?
Maybe.
Okay. He's got 3 picks left. Quarterback and 2 bench players. You know how it is with quarterback. There's plenty. Oh, Keon Coleman, nice pick. What's going to be, Jamey? Drake May.
Easy.
As your QB1. And so then you've got Purdy, you've got Goff, you've got Love, Lawrence, Caleb Williams. I assume you're going to take 2 quarterbacks. What do you think?
I will see what it looks like when we get to rounds 12 and 13 and who's available. Because if we were playing this out, I would see who's available on waivers. So again, I'll give you real life example of the flex draft. I took Justin Fields in round 10, and then it was, do I take a chance? Do I take a safe backup option like Jared Goff? It's 4 points per pass touchdown, or do I take Anthony Richardson? And so Goff is safe, we'll be fine. Richardson, if he hits, will be a league winner. So for me, it was I'll take Richardson, and guess who's still available on waivers? Jared Goff.
Guess who just signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers?
Keenan Allen.
For $8.5 million.
Yeah, it's bad for McConkey. Don't like it.
Good for McConkey. There's got to be incentive laden. That's an insane contract.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Cedric Tillman off the board. All right, Logan. We haven't focused on. Oh, I did like Logan's team. Let's see how he did. So did Logan wait? Here's a question, right? Did Logan wait too long to take his RB3? Because he goes Achane Walker. In this league, you only have to start 2 receivers. So A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Travis Hunter, Jerry Jeudy, Ricky Pearsall. He could have, let's see, he's 2, 4, 5, 6. He could have drafted, no, not really. He could have drafted Pacheco. I would have taken Pacheco over Jeudy, I think, if I were him. But
I would have taken Pacheco over Mixon.
I know.
Yeah, I think. Did he make his pick already? He took Tyler Algier. I think I would hope. I don't want to give away a player, but I would hope to get Jalen Wright, just at least have one backfield locked up.
Okay. Yeah, I think the problem for him is like he takes Jeudy, which is fine. Now, at that point, you have 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs. You're thinking, I'll probably take a running back with my next pick. But the running backs were that was a wasteland. Look at the stretch from Pacheco in round 6 to Jalen Warren in round 8. That is something like 18 picks with 1 running back coming off the board, and it's Tank Bigsby. So I do think you have to look at the board a little bit, and you probably should have taken Pacheco over Jeudy because the wide receivers at that point in the draft were so much better than the running backs.
Man, Mark Andrews right over you.
Yeah, that's a good pick. It was the right pick. All right. Tight ends, Loveland, Ferguson.
You took Keenan Allen. Come on.
Who took Keenan Allen?
Oh.
I didn't take
Thomas
it.
Dempsey.
Yeah, I mean,
you got Loveland. You're good.
I guess. I don't really. Fine. All right, I'll take Loveland.
You take Loveland and like Zach Ertz, and you're fine.
I'm gonna take Kincaid next.
Oh, Kincaid, yeah. Ferguson.
I don't get the Ferguson thing.
I mean, they're going to throw the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah, I get that. Brock Purdy is the next pick. Jared Goff is still on the board. Right? Yep. That's a good pick. If anyone takes him. When someone takes Jared Goff, I'm going to go, wow, great pick. No.
This is interesting. If you had taken Pacheco, you couldn't have any argument about which team you like the best. The team with Burrow and Pacheco. Ooh.
And 2 rookie running backs.
That would have been your dream.
Listen, I'm not taking Elijah Arroyo. I do like Elijah Arroyo, but I don't think he should be drafted in a 12-team league that with 6-man benches.
Oh, I know who you're taking. I know 100%.
I'm taking Kincaid. I already told you.
No, you should wait on Kincaid. There's another guy that you need.
All right, who do I need? All right, let's take a look. I really haven't looked that much at the board. I don't know.
Players I'm drafting the most.
Nick Chubb.
12.8 and 12.9 PPR points per game the last 3 seasons.
Oh, Christian Kirk.
Your guy.
He's still there. I was thinking about him 2 or 3 rounds ago.
Of course he's still there.
Yeah, I am going to take Christian Kirk. Dalton Kincaid be damned. So is this really bad for McConkey or what?
I don't think it's really bad for McConkey, but I mean, I think they're bringing in Keenan Allen to be an outside receiver. Not that McConkey keep playing outside, but like this is a little disparaging for him. I certainly don't think you could take him in round 2 at this point. And I don't think that you should be taking him ahead of Tyreek Hill, not ahead of T. Higgins. I don't know if anybody's taking him ahead of Drake London, but yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Just take. I don't know this. I think Ladd McConkey had one of the highest slot rates in football last year. I think it was in the 70s, close to it. JSN had a higher slot rate. Now, he is a guy who played outside in college a lot, but certainly profiled as a slot. 66% slot rate is very high.
Yeah.
Let's see. Slot. Okay. When he was in the slot, he averaged 2.24 yards per route run. When he was not in the slot, he averaged 2.79 yards per route run. It might really be bad for, Trey Harris, Quentin Johnston.
It's awful for them.
I wonder if Keenan Allen still has something left in the tank. People are going to look at how bad he was last year, how inefficient he was last year. Well, let me tell you, he averaged the lowest yards per route run rate of his career. So did DJ Moore. Romo Dunze had one of the lowest yards per route run rates of any rookie in the last 10 years with a minimum of 50 targets, I think. It was clearly Chicago's fault. It's not like all three of those guys were bad players last year. So he was coming off a season where he averaged 96 yards per game, Keenan Allen, in 2023. Last year, he hit the 32-year-old cliff and averaged 50 yards per game. But he may not be as washed up as people think.
I don't think he's better than McConkey.
No. Oh, no.
By any stretch. Somebody's making a comment and, that being afraid of Keenan Allen's bad. I just think it's a problem.
It'd be one thing if they weren't both slot receivers, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So it's interesting. But if they were to take McConkey off the field for Keenan Allen, I think they'd be insane.
Yeah.
We'll see how much dip there is to buy on this one. Michael Pittman is the pick. Let's see. Anthony Richardson. That's a really good pick. By the way, Anthony Richardson's going to start this week's preseason game. Daniel Jones is going to start next week's preseason game. Jamey takes Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Team name Tuesday. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt badge. Or just Krosky Merritt badge?
Not bad.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to ask you to come up with a team name for my team. I just came up with one for yours.
Team name for your team.
I'll try to think of one too. You could go to Oil of Olave.
Let's see. Joe Adrian.
Joe, who's Adrian?
Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon. Joe Adrian.
No. Average Joes?
Instead of Yo Adrian.
I get it, but I don't have an Adrian on my team.
You have two Joes.
Average Joes would be better, Jamey. How about We're Not Worthy?
Yeah, those are good. See you in the Hamptons?
Hampton Inn. Hotel, motel, Hampton Inn.
Yep.
Yeah. I got a lot of possibilities. I think the best team name I've come up with this year is Make Loveland, Not Warren.
That's good.
Thank you. I'm on a heater right now to end the show.
I think auto pick did not help Adam's team very much.
No, they gave him 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, and you drafted one of them.
Auto pick gave him no. I drafted both wide receivers. Auto pick gave him 0 wide receivers.
Yeah. Let's see. What would the starters look like? So you got Baker, Bijan, and Taylor. The starting lineup's not bad.
Yeah, it's fine.
Starting lineup is actually very good. Baker, Robinson, and Taylor, Higgins and Sutton, Connor at the flex, Kelsey at tight end. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not. Yeah, you can win with that team. You get a couple of bye weeks and some injuries, and you're a little bit of trouble. We don't typically advocate only 2 wide receivers in a 13-round draft. This is the last round of the draft, so
yeah.
If anybody has any,
so just to let you know, because you asked if I'm going to take another quarterback. Here are the guys that are available, and I'm sure 1 or 2 will go. Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, JJ McCarthy, Justin Herbert, Tua. I don't need to draft a second one.
I still would draft Goff if I were you.
I'm happy for you.
He's too good to just leave on waivers because he had one big game in week 1 and everyone's going to want Jared Goff.
But why?
Because he's
listen, I don't disagree with you. And for the way that my roster build is, he makes some sense. But I also think that Trevor Lawrence going to have a big season. I think that Tua could be 20 to 22 points per game. I think Herbert could be 20 to 22 points per game. I don't think what Goff did last year is going to be replicated.
All right, but he just threw for 4,600 yards and 36 touchdowns or something like that. I think you got to honor that. He's done better than anyone else in that range. I just think he's in a tier above the other guys. In fact, I might take him with I need a second tight end, even though I have a sleeper Joe Burrow. Oh, someone took Kincaid. Hate you all. Well, actually, I just hate the guy who took Kincaid. I didn't mean to hate all of you. It was Dan. Dan? Hate you. Oh, I didn't realize he took Kincaid even before my next pick. I couldn't have taken Kincaid. How about that? Lou says middle round picks are so hard. Other than the top 3, pick the best spot. Is the end so it looks like he wants to be on the ends.
I mean, you look at it like my draft was a little tough just because there were a lot of players that went right in front of me that I would have loved. So, and I think they should have, but to see AJ Brown and Drake London go in front of me in round 2, to see what was the round in round 3, Taylor, Williams, and Irving go right in front of me in round 3, to see what was another round that I think that happened as well.
I think that, you like the Isaiah, you like the Devontae Smith pick, but maybe you would have taken Pacheco, Kelsey and Laporta going ahead of you, and when you took
that didn't bother me.
Maybe you're just a big baby. I think that's kind of what I'm figuring out here.
I'm a baby?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me get rid of this comment. Take a look at the draft board, folks, and some of the latest picks. Demario Douglas, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jaden Higgins, Jared Goff, Trey Harris, Dallas Goedert. Woody Marks is a nice pick. I think that would have made sense for my Mixon team. Blake Corin to the Kyron Williams manager. Roshan Johnson. Unless we think Kyle Monangai is the guy to get there. Dylan Sampson was a nice pick. Rashad White, Braylon Allen, Nick Chubb, Dylan Sampson with the last 4 picks for Graham. You got some. That's really interesting, though, because he only had Henderson and Swift. So he didn't exactly go 0 RB, but he took RBs with 48 and 49 overall.
I like it. I mean, I think Rashad White's a little undervalued because I do think they'll use him early in the season. And I think Braylon Allen's a good home run swing. Same with Dylan Sampson. Chubb is going to be whatever he is as long as Mixon's out. But it's a strong build.
I don't really like it that much, to be honest.
Well, let's just say McConkey was somebody else.
I'm not hating on that pick. I think it was the right pick. That was before the Keenan Allen news, and even with the Keenan Allen news, I mean, whatever. But I think what happened here, my guess is Graham's thinking after he takes Henderson and Swift that he's going to have a running back he likes at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is this? The 6-7 turn. But again, I talked about this with the stretch from Pacheco in round 5 to Warren. Am I getting the rounds wrong? I'm sorry. Pacheco round 6 to Warren in round 8. The running back's real terrible there. So he goes Waddle and Kupp. And ideally, I think one of those is a running back. But he made
what if that was Waddle and Jalen Warren?
No, I think he made the right call by taking a better player. I wouldn't have taken any running back there. The running back value was just really bad for Graham at that turn. And I think this is something that maybe we need to explore if we have the first pick or the second pick and we're going, all right, I gotta get 3 running backs I like before the 7th round because they're just maybe even before the 6th round, late 6th round. Because
so you would have liked Chase, McBride, Taylor, Bucky, Kyron instead.
Chase, McBride, Taylor. Wait a second. So you're saying instead of
start your team with Jamar Chase, Trey McBride, and Jonathan Taylor instead of Ladd McConkey in hindsight?
I probably would have gone with a running back instead of McBride.
Well, one of the two.
Yes. I think so. And that wasn't so obvious to me, but right here, where did Aaron Jones go?
Aaron Jones went in round.
He went early.
5.
Tony Pollard went early. All right, so that's the thing. Like Jones and Pollard went kind of early. Like, there was a little bit of bad luck here that nobody good at the 6-7 turn was really there.
Yeah, but what I would say to your point, is in a 3-receiver league, taking McConkey or whichever receiver may now fill that spot makes some sense. In a 2-receiver league where you and I think are both in agreement, like if you get an elite tight end,
yeah, that's true.
You like it a lot better. So to come away with like this start of Chase, McBride, and Jonathan Taylor, like that's pretty awesome. Because then if it's Chase, McBride, Taylor, and played out the exact same way, where you're playing, maybe you're taking Sutton where Swift is, right? So if you go Chase, McBride, Jonathan Taylor, Henderson, Sutton, and now you have Taylor and Henderson as your running backs, and Chase and Sutton as your receivers, like that's a pretty dominant team.
Thomas, save this draft board because maybe we bring this up tomorrow and we really think about it. If you have an early pick and you have to look at the running backs that are going to be available to you at the 6-7 turn, and if you don't like what ADP is saying, then you need to factor that in and maybe be a little bit more running back heavy. And it doesn't necessarily mean have more than 2 running backs, but maybe it's taking a running back earlier than round 4 and going from there.
Thomas is not listening to. He's busy doing a Dave face on Liam Neeson's face for Taken.
That's amazing. Uncle Frank is the worst. He is off. I wouldn't let that creep around my kids. I don't mean like he's a creep like that, but he's such a jerk. He's so mean to Kevin. He's a cheapskate. He is a reprehensible. Is he supposed to be Ebenezer Scrooge or something? I mean, he's the worst, Uncle Frank.
I think since you put your face on Uncle Frank and his face, it would take so much because you were like 2 of the skinniest people I've ever met. Like it would take so much for you guys to have that fat of a face.
Who, me and who? Thomas?
Thomas, yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. All right, everybody. Thank you.
You combined 250 pounds?
Yes. I just weighed myself. I weigh 170.
So you're 170 and Adam's 95 pounds. So
I'm tall though. I'm 6 foot. So
yeah.
I'm the tallest one on the Draft-a-thon page.
That was
hey, everybody. Thank you for donating and participating. And for all of you watching and hanging out with us, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I think we'll try to get Adam back in another one.
We got I feel bad for him. He probably really wanted to be there.
He's in the chat with us almost every day.
All right, we'll find out tomorrow. Our show's gonna be a little bit late tomorrow, 10:30 instead of 10 a.m. So talk to you then. See you. Have a good night, everybody.